Greetings, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of the iGoddessTings podcast. It is I, your host, Camille, Telicia, aka the Intentional Goddess, and I'm so grateful that you're here with us for another episode. And as you can see, we are still on video, which means that this is a continuation of the Meet the Co-Authors series for the upcoming book that I just am so lucky and fortunate to be a part of, Shenomenal Women. As you know, in this series, you're getting an inside look conversation with the co-authors of this book. There are 23 authors in total. And so, yeah, we got a few more to go through, but please stick around. I'm so excited for you to meet the next three ladies that are on the list. And we'll be right back, of course, after the introduction. Welcome to the iGoddessTings podcast, a show for the goddesses that is a safe space for us to be ourselves and to talk about all of the things we experience, that we love, we're challenged by, and even working through. I'm your host, speaker, author, and coach, Camille Telicia, aka Goddess Camille, aka the one and only Intentional Goddess. Let's start the show. Welcome back. Did you like the intro? I'm trying something new. Anyway, so it's time to meet my guests for today's episode, my lovely co-authors. We have LaToya Elliot, Janise Warner, and Sherri Picket. And we are going to first start off with LaToya introducing herself. Welcome to the show, LaToya.
Thank you, Camille. I'm happy to be here. My name's LaToya Elliot, and I trade a program operations manager. I'm also a mom, and my hobby / what I kind of do is I'm a singer and a worship leader.
Did you say you were going to bust a tune for us today? Is that what you said? You're going to sing us in?
If you need a new intro song, maybe we can work something out.
All right, now y'all heard it, right? So we get to hold her to it? Okay, yeah, everybody heard that. Cool. All right, welcome, LaToya. Happy to have you. Next up, we have Miss Janise. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Camille? I'm great.
Fantastic. Would you mind telling the people a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a mother of 4. My kids are nearly all grown now. My youngest one is 15. My oldest is 21. I've been working in the healthcare field for about 20 years now. So that's pretty much what I do. As far as hobbies, I really don't have too many hobbies aside from just listening to music and spending time with my family.
Music is a great hobby, sis. Don't even downplay it, okay? We're happy to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Miss Sherri Picket. Sherri, please tell the people about yourself. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Hey. My name is Sherri Picket, and I hail from sunny California in the town of Apple Valley. I am a single mother of 7 children, and I am currently a substitute teacher. Been a teacher for a few years, and so my life is just consumed with being around kids.
So I hope that means that you actually like kids, because some of these teachers, they don't. Is that a yes?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I enjoy being around children.
Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, so welcome to the show, ladies. I'm very excited about our conversation today. So as everybody knows, we are co-authors in the Shenomenal Women book, brought to us by our visionary author, Miss Tasha Champion. And so really quickly, just as a tease, I'm doing this with everyone. I'd like for you all to give us a 2 to 3 sentence synopsis, overview, summary, whatever word you want to choose, of what your chapter is about, like what they can look forward to reading about when they get to your chapter in the book. And I'm going to switch the order and start with Sherri first. Tell us a little bit about your chapter.
My chapter is about my faith and how it helped me through 2 difficult pregnancies, deliveries, and that's kind of it.
All right now, Sherri. I hope that you give us a little more as we go through this interview. That's a good start. Janise, what about you? What is your chapter about?
My chapter is about the apprehension to love. I lost my parents at a very young age, and so learning how to love other people and feel loved was a challenge for me.
I like that. I love that, but no, I like that conversation about learning to be loved. I think that I'm excited. Okay, sorry, we're not gonna hold my commentary right now. Okay, LaToya, what is your chapter about?
My chapter is about a journey through grief, and my journey through grief, and how I overcame and got on the road to healing.
Sorry, y'all. Been a long day. Okay, perfect. All right, so now a couple of the other co-authors so far that I've spoken to, some of us are entrepreneurs, and so like, you know, part of authorhood is like, oh great, so it can be a tool in my business, right? But all of you guys, I don't think have any businesses right now, and so I'm curious, what made you each decide to say yes to being a part of this book? Like, why? What was the reason why when you were approached, you were like, you know what, yeah, I'll do this. I'll write. Like, even though there's no like, oh, I'm going to use this as a marketing tool, or I'm about to build my platform on this. It was just like, this is a yes for me. And Janise, I'm going to start with you.
I like to, I guess, talk to people. I don't want to say I would like to talk to people. I'm a good listener. So a lot of people like to come to me with their stories, and I share mine, and they're always saying how remarkable my story is. Things, you know, just certain things that I tell them, and that I share part of my life. Then to me, I'm just telling my life. I'm not really, you know, trying to teach anything or trying to inspire anyone, but I found that I have done that throughout the years. So when Tasha approached me with this opportunity, I said, hey, why not? I want someone to hear my story, but the part of the story that I'm telling, though, no one really, you know, knows that part of me. So I'm excited to share it and to get it out there.
Oh, so juicy. Okay. Sherri, why did you say yes to being a part of the book?
I said yes to participating in the book because I've always had a passion for writing. I like to write in my free time. And I had a story to tell that I do want to inspire someone so that they know that they can make it through difficult times also.
My mute button. Absolutely. I love that. So sharing the story. Okay. And LaToya, what about you?
I actually, before Tasha contacted me, was thinking about starting a blog about something totally like different, more on the lines of worship and faith. And I hadn't started it. And then she called me about this. And first of all, I was very like taken aback that she would even, you know, consider me to be a Shenomenal Woman. So I felt honored. But then I thought, you know, I have a story to tell, and I'm all about helping someone. I firmly believe that we go through things to strengthen ourselves, but we also go through things to help somebody else through. And so, even though I wasn't as comfortable sharing my story to the world, I thought this, you know, this is an opportunity to help somebody else. So.
I love the common thread here with you ladies about just really taking that, I'm going to say, chance to share your story, you know, and being very intentional and saying, okay, I have something to say, and I believe somebody will receive some value from this. And so I'm super excited because what it says to me is that you guys get to be the reflection or the example for many women and fellas too, but women, because it's the Shenomenal Women book, yes, who have that story in their head that like my life doesn't matter, what my experience is not important, nobody cares. And it's like that's not true. And look at these three powerful women who are sharing their story, with no extra agenda in mind other than to be of impact and support to other people going through. So I love that, and I'm so excited for people to hear your stories. So with that, Janice, I'm picking on you again because my next question, right, is what is the one thing in your story that people will be surprised to learn? And so obviously you don't have to give away like your big juicy secret, but you said that you haven't really shared your story before, right? And so there are definitely going to be people in your life who know you who are going to pick up this book and be like, "Nah, Janice, why you like that?"
Right.
You can just tantalize the people with one of those things so that we can get them excited to pick up their copy of the book. What would you say that is?
I mean, it's basically just the title itself, The Apprehension to Love. Everyone thinks that I'm such a lovable person. I'm always caring. I'm always taking care of people. And that's just what I do. I mean, I'm in the healthcare field. That's just my nature. And so for them to hear that I myself had struggles doing this, learning how to love someone and for accepting someone to love me they're gonna be surprised to hear my story.
You ready for the text messages? Are you ready for the text you're gonna get? Like, ooh, Janet, Janet. Right. I'm sorry, ooh, Janice.
Yes, definitely.
Well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you?
And see, that's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear all that. Don't feel sorry. Just feel glad that I've overcome all this.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Celebrate my victory, please and thanks. LaToya, what about you? What do you think is something or the one thing that your folks, now I'm not talking about the strangers or the associates, I'm talking about the people who know you. They're going to pick up this book and be like, LaToya, sis, wow.
Well, it's funny because, before I turned in my chapter, I let my husband like kind of look at it and, look through it. Now he lives in the house with me and knows I was going through grief, but there was some things in there that shocked him. And I think it's because I must be really good at hiding some things. People see, I think the perception of me being very strong, which I am a strong woman, but strong people need to be checked on too. And I think the perception of like how I was traveling that road during that time and people saw me, I think that there will be a lot of shock to what I was actually going through that they couldn't see it because they weren't able to see it. I was, I guess, hiding it very well. So.
It's funny because in a previous episode, we were talking with some of the authors about the facade that we tend to put up. And then we were like, it's not so much a facade, right? But it's almost like it's our armor, our guard. And so I totally get that people, it's almost like, oh, you get sad too? Yeah, I'm a human being. Hi, thanks. What do you mean? Like, what? Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. And I feel like you might have some similar texts that Janice is going to get. Be like, oh, I didn't even know you were going through that. Why didn't you call me? I got your back. Like, well, did you know that I had lost? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like Janice, though. I don't want the pity, pity that, I got through it.
Right. So. Absolutely. And we're going to get to that. I'm not even going to jump ahead in my questions, but yes. Okay, Miss Sherri, coming up on the rear, what is going to be something that your folks are going to be surprised about?
I think there's going to be one person that might be slightly offended by one small part in my chapter, that my truth, might be different from what his truth is. So that's the only thing I am slightly concerned about.
Okay. Do you have a game plan on, if they address it?
No. It's my truth. So whether you saw it a different way, that's, your perception, but I'm telling my story and what I went through and how it made me.
Absolutely. That's the game plan right there, quite frankly. So, thank you for sharing your story, but this is how I experienced it and this was my reality. And so that's what it is. That's what I shared because it's also your story, right? And just because another person played a role and they're worried about themselves, it does not stop it from being your story, our story, like whatever, however we want to phrase it. And that was something, another common thread with one of the first groups of authors that I talked with, where that was something we were talking about. It's like there are things that they share in their chapter about how certain people impacted them, and they address and identify the people, and they're like, listen, some folks may feel a type of way, and why did you put our business out there? But it's like, I still get to share my story, right? Especially if I was influenced and impacted by it. So that's what we're doing, because that's what Shenomenal Women do. So kudos to you, sis. And listen, if they got a conversation they want to have, you can tell them to come see some other folks. We got your back, okay? Okay. Moving right along into this conversation, right, about our writing our chapters and putting it together. So I'm curious about the writing process. And I know that we kind of all talked about this with Tasha for some other things that we're putting out for the book. But, in the sense that, like, we're sharing our story, and for some of you, it's a story you've never told before, or you're identifying people that, maybe see things differently, or you're sharing some intimate things that other people just were not present and aware to. Like, what was the hardest thing for you to decide to open up about when you were writing your chapter, and why did you choose to do it still? Like, why did you choose to push forward? And LaToya, you haven't started off yet. How about you?
I think for me, the hardest thing was just to be vulnerable and to be transparent. I'm not a closed off person, but I'm pretty private. And I don't share a lot with everybody. A lot of people come to me to share and to get advice, and that's great. But I'm not a big sharer, with others. And so one of the pieces of advice I got from a friend who had done a book like this was, if you're going to do it, you got to be transparent, because people are looking for real, authentic stories, and they will be able to tell if you were holding back. So I think that was the most difficult part, was being totally transparent about what I went through. Because again, I think people see me a certain way, and not that I don't think what I said was anything shameful, but I think it like they will see something that they didn't know. So
I love that. I love that. And your friend gave you some amazing advice, because I think it's human nature, right? Like we can always kind of just like have an inkling of when somebody is not giving us the full story, because there's is this a word? Incompletion. Lack of completeness. I don't know. The thing just doesn't feel complete. Like you can always tell, right? Like you can always be like, there's like a little something that could have, should have, probably is here that I'm not seeing, and I don't know what it is. And sometimes you can brush it off and just be like, sure, okay, but it doesn't take away from the story. But then other times you're like, yeah, like why am I even reading this if you're not going to tell me X, Y, Z? So kudos. Yes, definitely. All right, Sherri, I'm swinging back to you. What would you say was the hardest thing for you to open up about or write about while you were writing your chapter, and why did you push forward anyways?
I think the hardest part was definitely being authentic, in some parts revealing things that I think made myself look in a bad light. And being able to just to go forward with that it is what it is, and it's reality of it. Although I may have wanted it to look different, it didn't.
I'm over here taking notes. Sorry. So essentially, you were shedding light on your flaws, right? And I love that. And we don't like to do that, honey, because we're supposed to be perfect, you know? We're supposed to be
perfect. To have it all together.
Yeah. So what gave you the courage to say, yeah, I'm going to allow you to see me, flaws and all?
Because I needed to tell the whole story. You know, you take away from maybe the meaning when you leave parts out. And I don't know, just I needed to tell it all. Yeah. Although I might not have, you know, felt comfortable in the beginning, and I still am a little nervous about what some people may think when they read it, but that's just only one small part of it. Everything else I feel like is on a positive note, that can be encouraging to someone else, maybe help someone else grow stronger.
No, I love that. And first, I love where you said I needed to tell it all. I needed to tell the whole story, and it goes back to what LaToya said it, right? We're talking about telling the whole thing, right? So that you can not leaving anything out. So I love that. So same question to you, Janise. What was the hardest thing for you to open up about when you were writing your chapter, and why did you decide to push through?
I would say going through growing up without my parents, just going through the emotions of that. A lot of people didn't really know everything that I had gone through to make it through. So I wanted to tell that story so that, although I know some people are going to be upset, in my family-wise, they're going to be a little upset because I share a little bit about feeling neglected from them during this whole process. And I think it was because I'm the youngest one. I only have an older sister, and we're 10 years apart. So yeah, kind of felt alone. So yeah.
So it's similar to what Sherri was talking about just speaking your truth, right? And so why did you decide to continue to write it and put it in?
I just think it's time, because everybody, just like I said, sees me as like a well put together type of person, which overall I am. But but there are some, there's a lot I have to go through emotionally and mentally to get to where I'm at now, just to overcome all that. So I just think it's time for them to know what I had to go through to get through it all. It wasn't easy. They saw it in a different light. So I just want to share a different part of it.
I love that. And so I don't know why just now when you were sharing, Janise, what made me think, because all of you are moms, right? And so I'm curious to know your thoughts about, and not even from a worried standpoint or anything, but okay, here's how I want to ask it. What role, if any, did your kids play in your decision to tell your story? Yeah, let's start with that. So, LaToya, I'll pick on you. What role, if any, did your kids play in your decision to start? to be a part of the book, Lord?
Yeah, I'm actually, like, when we kind of do big things in our family, we kind of talk about it as a family because it affects everybody, right? So when I brought it to my kids, they were like, "Oh, that's cool. You should do that." Like, what are you going to write about? And they were very supportive. But I did think about, like, the family dynamic and, all of this. And because you never know where this might take any of us, right? But I think that being honest and being open about what we experience, I think it teaches kids to be honest about their truth, about what's going on, and not hide things or feel like they have to hide. So I think it's a good example for them to see their mom being able to share something that's hard to talk about, in an effort to not only, like, continue my healing process, but to help somebody else. So yeah.
I love that. I like that. Janice, what about you? What role, if any, did your kids play in your deciding to do the book?
I was just getting ready to say, LaToya, ditto. Exactly the same thing. We're my family and I'm open with my kids. I have an open door policy. They talk to me about anything. I talk to them about anything. But I know with them growing up as teenagers and young adults, they may have some insecurities or some things they may not want to tell me and their father. So I want them to be open to, I want them to be comfortable, to be open to tell us certain things. And they were actually super duper excited, more excited than I was about writing this chapter. Of course, I was scared and nervous. I didn't want to share certain things. And they were like, no, just go ahead, just tell it, because that's what you tell us, so if that's what makes you comfortable, go ahead and do it.
Perfect. Look at y'all kids just being so supportive. Okay, Sherri, what about you? How did the kids play a role for you as well?
Well, I have a range of children. My youngest is 8 and my oldest is 24. So I have a couple of adult children, and then I have children that are still at home. How did they affect me choosing to write about this? First of all, my chapter is about how my last two, how they came to be in this world. And some details of that, I don't know how they're going to feel, because I think maybe some of them don't know. And so that's going to be interesting to know how they feel.
Are you going to let them read the book now, or are you going to make them wait till they're older?
Definitely let the adult children read it. I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of play it by ear, and I know for my adult children, especially the oldest two, they know that I've always had a desire to write a book, so they definitely encouraged me to do it, and they see a dream being fulfilled. So that's something really good that's coming from this, that, to eat.
And can I just say, Sherri, honey, when you said you have a 24-year-old, you look 24. So, I don't know, you saw my face, I was like, 24.
Thank you.
You look good. You look 24. Get out of here. Okay.
No, not quite that. Yeah, it's the camera.
So Thank you, Zoom. Thank you for the good looks and lighting. Okay, so we're talking about the kids, right, and the impact of the kids. And so this question, I'm not sure if I want to make it about your kid. Okay, so let's just answer it how you feel, all right? Because the question is really like, what is one thing you hope our readers will take away from the book about you? But I also think it would be interesting to get your perspectives as moms about also what you hope maybe your kids will get about you when they read the book. And the reason why I say that is because, again, circling back to conversations from what some of the other authors, right? We had one of the episodes we were talking about like how sometimes we forget that our parents are people too. Right. And so since you guys are parents, you know, like you now have both ends of the spectrum, right? From the like being the teenager who didn't really believe like my parents, blah, 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 versus being the parent who is now like, y'all don't understand. I am still a human being. Right? I still have life happening to me. So you can answer in whichever order, but I would love to get your take on what you hope the readers will take away from the book about you, and then also what you hope your children may take away from the book about you. And if they're the same, then that's fine as well. But I would just be really curious. And so, Janise, I'm going to start with you.
I don't really know how to answer that. What do I want the readers to take away from the book?
You.
That you have to learn how to love yourself before you love anyone else, whether it be your children, your spouse, your life partner, because it's difficult to receive. Well, it's difficult to give love if you don't know how to receive it.
Okay, I like that. And what about the babies? What do you hope that they take away about mom?
Like you said, that I am human. I do have feelings. I'm not just a big shield, you just throw stuff at me and expect me not to feel any type of way. But yes, that I too have been through a lot in the past and still am going through, just regular life cycles now. And I want them to know that they can find different ways, different avenues to work through just life in general, through emotions, mentally, physically, emotionally, because I know a lot of children have a hard time expressing their feelings, and so I just want them to know that there are different ways to work through it all. It's not just talking. You don't have to talk about it all the time.
Absolutely. So I hope you report back and let us know what the babies think. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Sherri, same two questions to you. What is one thing you hope that the readers will take away about you? And then what do you hope the babies who do read the book take away about mom from after reading your chapter?
Well, the title of the book being Shenomenal Women, I think that gives the impression that we are like some super women, carrying some kryptonite. And I think that most women are phenomenal, and that we all truly do have, our own power, our own strength, that we're able to get through things in life. But everybody doesn't have that within themselves to know that they're able to do that they just kind of, fall apart. But that they do have the ability to be strong women and be able to get through tough circumstances. And what I really want my children to take away from this is that truly my foundation and what got me through my tough times was my faith in God. That's who I sought, and that's who I want them to seek him first. And it wasn't always that I was depending on him. So even when I doubted and may have walked away, I always went back to it. And that's what's been able to help me stand and not just fall apart.
Beautiful. So a deeper relationship with their higher power, with God, and for women to know their shenomenality. I made up a new word from our new word. Yeah, okay. It's been a long day. LaToya, shooting over to you. Losing my words. What is one thing you hope that our readers will take away about you from your chapter? And then what is something that you hope your kids also take away about mom after reading the chapter?
I'm going to start with the kid thing because I think that's a little easier. I'm going to piggyback off of Sherri, like that my faith really carried me through. And even, you know, this might be shocking for people to hear, but even, you know, not losing my faith, but losing my way a little bit. But that you can still get back to it, you know, get back to what you know works for you. And my faith is, you know, my foundation. So I hope that would be their foundation too. And so that they would know that, you know, no matter what they go through, that God is always there to see them through it. As far as like the reader, I want them to know that I'm an overcomer, basically, and that, you know, you can overcome too. I mean, I know that, you know, people sometimes think that things are, you know, going to take them out of here and they're not going to be able to get through it, but you can get through it no matter what you're going through. You can overcome. And if you're still here one more day to breathe, you got one more day to try to get it right and get on your path and keep going. So that's what I hope that they see about me.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Janise, I saw you nodding every time faith was brought up. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity if there's something you want to share just in general about your faith and the role it may have played in your story. To open up the floor for that.
Yes, faith, definitely. Always on the front line for me. I don't think I would have made it through half of the struggles that I went through then, and I'm still going through now. I'm not a very religious person, but I am very spiritual, and faith is just always on the front line for me. I strongly believe.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I just want to make sure I gave you a chance. So I was like, yeah, I don't want y'all to think Janise is not over here with the faith. Okay.
I was over here saying amen. Yes. I hear you. Both of you, everybody.
Perfect. Okay, ladies. So those are the questions. We have one last question to bring us at our completion. But before we do that question, I want to give you all an opportunity to let people know how they can connect with you after they buy our book and they're excited about your chapter and they want to follow up or touch base. Can they find you on the internet? And if so, where is that? And we'll just start LaToya, then Janise, then Sherri. You guys can share where people can connect with you online, offline, however you want to phrase it.
Sure. So one thing I didn't share is that I actually have a faith-based performing arts ministry for children, for young people. So I said that because I'm going to give my email and it'll sound a little funny. You can reach me at LaToya, that's LaToya at keyofdavidcamp.com. And I'm also on Facebook as LaToya D. Elliot. I'm on Instagram as songstress _ 1913. So yeah, that's where I am. Those are where you can reach me.
Perfect. And first, Key of David, so cute, by the way. Okay. How about you? Oh, Janice, how about you? I might have muted myself. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, who did she call? Wait, okay. I can be reached through email, janicesalonga@gmail.com, and that's JANISESALONGA @gmail. My Facebook is Janice Salonga Warner, and my Instagram is Purple Virgo J.
Purple Virgo. Perfect. Miss Sherri, how about yourself?
You can reach me on Facebook as Sherri Connally Picket, or on email at kpic6@yahoo.com.
Perfect. And will you just spell the Sherri Connally so that they get it correct?
Sherri, SHERRI, Connally, CONALLY, Picket, PICKE.
Perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm off mute. Lord. Okay, so the last question, ladies, and I'm going to give you a chance to come up with your answer while I read this card, is what is bringing you joy right now? So think about your answers while I share with our listeners the iGoddess Oracle card for today. And that card is You Are Worthy. And the message is, Goddess, you are worthy, you are worthy, you are worthy. There's nothing that you can do to lessen your worth, because it is your birthright. In a world that wants you to believe that you are nothing, Spirit wants to remind and assure you that you are everything. Your worth is dependent on nothing, not even your belief in it. You will be worthy whether you believe you are or not. But how much better would it be if you choose to just believe? So I don't know who need that message today, but that is our message and our iGoddess guidance from the deck that will once again go on sale at some point when I decide, y'all. But thank you for your love and support and appreciating the deck anyways. Okay, beautiful ladies, are you ready to share what is bringing you joy before we close out? Sherri, I'm going to start with you.
What is bringing me joy right now is that I am blessed to be working as a substitute teacher from home, which is really unusual, but I enjoy being able to help students during this distance learning that we're doing, and that I hope that I am somebody that that I can be there for them to try and help them to get through their schoolwork.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you for supporting our youth and their education. It is needed and necessary. Okay, Janice, on to you. What is bringing you joy right now?
Same, that I'm still able to work. As you know, in the healthcare field, on the front line, it's crazy the things we see out there. People come and go, and I'm just thankful that myself and my family have stayed healthy throughout the whole pandemic. And I have a lot of things coming up this year in 2021. I'm just super duper excited. So that's what I'm happy about.
I love it. And again, Janice, absolutely, thank you so much for the work that you do. For sure, for sure. You know, listen, you're already special anyways, being in healthcare, but like right now, especially, like you are appreciated and we honor and salute you for sure. Absolutely. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. LaToya, you already know it's your What is bringing you joy right now?
It's this journey that I'm on right now because we had a whole pandemic last year, but I just kept getting blessing after blessing. One of them being this opportunity to write a chapter in the book, which was so out of, nowhere, came out of nowhere. And then there's, some things that came across last year that are rolling into this year, that are launching, that are mind blowing. And I'm just excited about the journey that I'm on right now.
Thank you, LaToya. And yes, on it, but I definitely last year also lots of still highly blessed, right, in the midst of everything that was going on. So definitely just honoring and acknowledging that too. So yeah. Okay, ladies, we're complete. How do y'all feel? We finished. How do you feel? Before we sign out, come off mute, tell the people how you feel.
I feel great.
That was LaToya.
Yes, I definitely feel great.
That was Janise. Beautiful people, thank you so much for joining us again for another episode of the iGoddessTings podcast. You know that I am grateful for you. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode, or at least getting to talk to you and you getting to hear me, whether you are listening or you're watching this new video format that we're doing for these episodes for this series. And as always, be blessed, be amazing, be intentional, and I will see you guys / talk to you guys on the next episode. Bye. This has been another episode of the iGoddessTings podcast, created and produced by Camille Telicia of The Intentional Goddess. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share it with a fellow goddess, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and rate and review it so other goddesses can find us and join in too. We're available on all podcasting platforms, including Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. For more information about The Intentional Goddess, head to www.theintentionalgoddess.com, and you can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram at The Intentional Goddess. See you in the next episode.